in the demystifying is what is supply chain? Why do we need it? And how we handle the modern supply chain. So far, the supply chain was very much limited to transportation, logistics, or to the goods. But now the supply chain management is covering goods and services. So it basically also differentiates between a good company and a bad company. So when you're competing two companies, one is spending 20% of his time and cost in covering from end to end. Other one is covering with 15%. So naturally they have a better edge over the other. So that's what we say, stand apart from competitors. Well, friend, with this, now let me move to the next ones. What we plan to cover up in today's 60 minutes. And after 60 minutes, I will have one or two more questions. Overview of SCM. What exactly is SCM? Why do we need? What it is? And types of SCM. Is it a push type? Is it a pull type? Key skills. What skills are required to become an SCM expert? So far, we have been talking of to become a procurement expert. We've been talking of to become a logistic expert. Now, SCM is the mother of all. It's a combination of all. So risks, what are the risks around in supply chain? At the end of the day, when we took from the customer angle, they look around whether my goods will be delivered or not. Will they come in the good quality? Whether they'll come with the right wrapping around? So risks are there. And then we have challenges as well in supply chain. And every challenge also has opportunity, which we all know in our life. If we don't have a challenge, we never think of opportunities. The life becomes very uniform. But here, the challenges are there, and that brings opportunity as well. Because when we want to handle the challenges, we think of new ideas, new solutions, and that becomes opportunity for us. Little bit I'll touch on the digital transformation. And then the last one I will cover around the steps. If any one of you who has been working, say, in the past in logistics, somebody has been working in inventory part, somebody is working on procurement, somebody is working on operational activities around, and wants to be a supply chain expert. So I'll walk through the key steps required around. So what we plan to cover up in 60 minutes to equip all the participants, the knowledge, skills to build efficient, integrated, and future-ready supply chain. Now here is the one quote I'll take up. Behind every product means I'm talking of goods and services, there is a supply chain. And behind every successful business, there is a smart supply chain manager. So that means we certainly need a supply chain, and to become a business success, we need a supply chain manager. So introductory, if I say some keywords around, in the world where business are navigating disruption. This word was not common in the 5-6 years back. Now the disruption we are hearing every time. So disruption is there. Sometimes the goods are not able to go through the Red Sea. Then we have the country-to-country disruptions, delivery disruptions. And there could be on the services side also disruption. Then there's a digitization. Everybody's talking to digitalize it. Customer expectations are also growing up. So that means supply chain has become more than a back-end function. It's not a back-end. As procurement has also moved from back-end function to strategic function, supply chain is also becoming much more strategic in that sense. They are strategic enablers of what? Innovation. You want to come with new processes because you have challenges, so you come with new ideas around. So we come with innovation. We come with new technologies around. We come with sustainability as well. If you were talking about the climate change, everybody says cut down the carbon footprint. So sustainability comes in. So we are not only looking at the carbon footprint, we are also looking at social parameters as well. The resilience part. The demands are fluctuating. It's not stable. So when demand fluctuates, my company has to be resilient enough to withstand the changes. If you cannot withstand the changes, company will close down. So you have to be resilient enough. It's an invisible engine powering today's global economy. So let's try to dive into this, into a journey that connects the product, processes, people, and purpose. Now here I will just give you a small historical background of SCM since when it came. If you go historically, since my journey has been since 1972 after passing from college when I went to this. I started with the design, but then later on moved to production to, after doing my MBA in supply chain management, I moved into this field around. So when I look at in the good old days, we used to have a separate function. Somebody says, you ask them, say, I'm doing production planning, I'm doing this. Procurement was a separate field. Logistic was a separate field. Operation was separate field. So all these were silos. And you know the impact of silos. Procurement guy will say, I've done my job. Logistic will say, my job done. Operation guy says, the manufacturing guy, I've done my job. But customer doesn't get the goods. The reasons could be many. So now in the pre-80s, it was all about functional and transactional and silos. The focus was on cost and efficiencies. But if I go from 80s to 90s, then we said, guy, we want total quality management, ISO 9001. We want to be the lean. Then we became cross-functional coordination. Then came 2000 onward, year 2000, 2010. As the technology was growing, and technology could connect us. First ERP came around, then e-procurement came around, then warehouse management system came around, transportation management system came around. So those basically helped us to connect everything. So the technology was the major issue to connect all the activities around, and that's what we call strategic integration. So that integrations brought the concept of supply chain management. First, it brought the concept of supply chain. Then how do we manage it effectively? It became supply chain management. But now when we talk of the next one, 2020 onward, everybody's talking of agility now. Customer focus demand is up and down. So I should be flexible to change my whole chain. People want to be digital. And you're hearing the word AI every day. Artificial intelligence, then we came with a Gen AI. After Gen AI, now we're talking agentic AI. And presently I'm in the US, so I'm meeting some people around. Many people are switching over to agentic AI and sustainable SCM. So this is where the trend is moving around and integration is happening. Because the more we are silos, I'm a procurement guy, I'm a logistic guy, I'm this person, I'm an inventory person. But if you connect all of them together, then you have a visible chain. So that means you will be needing in future chief supply chain management officer. And that person will coordinate all the activities around. So now question comes, why integration matters? So when we integrate end to end, that means the moment it starts from the raw material, goes to the supplier, supplier to manufacturers, manufacturers to distributor, distributors to retailer, retailer to customer. And even if customer rejects it, it could come back. That visibility is required end to end. And supports real-time data-driven decisions. So that means when I'm connected end to end, and if I got the AI, I can have data-driven decision and builds resilience. I think this is the main tool. If we are connected end to end, I could be much more resilient. I know where is my weakness. How do I handle it? If I don't have visibility end to end where I'm weak, I can't be resilient by the time the damage is done. So we need drive sustainability and innovations. If I would the line summarize word, integration is a backbone. If we want to have a resilient supply chain, this word came only after COVID-19. Before that COVID, nobody talked about the resilient part. Demands were more or less stable, but now the demands are fluctuating every time. You might be in any product, any activities around, demands are fluctuating. And the demands fluctuating means we need integration, end to end. And integration means visibility. Visibility means then with the based on data, I can take some action. Understanding the supply chain. Take a look around your home, office, almost every product. It may be a grocery item at home, most sophisticated device. They might have gone through hundreds of steps around to get to your place. Simple item, if I take a cable, copper cable. The copper might be coming from Africa and some other mines. From mines, I'm transporting it. After transporting, it goes to some company in X country. They melt it. They make the ingots. Someone from the ingots make the rods. From somebody rods, somebody makes the wire. Somebody coats with the plastic. You can imagine around, I would say, easily 100 steps would be there around. Maybe even thousands of steps around. So this is what we are looking around. It requires numerous resources, activities, and people to get from idea to the end state. So there's an, again, umbrella terms covering all the processes from beginning to end. And that's what we call supply chain. So supply chain is nothing but a chain connecting every activity, even people, including the process from one end to the other end. One end could be the supplier. Supplier could be the one whom you place the order. Then your supplier might be placing order to someone else. That's what we call tier 2 supplier. Tier 2 might be giving to tier 3. Tier 3 might be going to tier 4. It's a chain of activities. Now, what is supply chain? As I said to you, it's nothing but connecting all activities from one beginning to another end. So it covers material resources. It covers activities, the processes. Activities could be conversion. Activities could be marketing. Activities could be selling, and then people also around. So you are connecting everyone from one end to another end. Supply chain covers all of them. You can see suppliers of the raw materials, even manufacturers, warehouses, transporters, retailers, customers. In the good old days, I remember one workshop I was invited around. I said, oh, they said to me, it's a supply chain team. When I asked them, guys, what are you doing? Supply chain, they thought it's all transporters. So the thinking was supply chain is only transportation, but not now. Supply chain means covering from one end where you plan something, then you buy something, then you can make the things around, and after making, it goes to the goods are ready, then goes to the warehouse, from warehouse to distributor, distributor to retailer, retailer to customer. So this is all, it connects everyone, including the materials, including the people, including the process. And in this chain, if you look around, one side the material is flowing, other side information is also flowing. Third side, the money is also flowing because somebody has to pay the money. Supplier, you have to pay to the money to the supplier. So everybody gets the money flow, information flow, and the goods flow, and can also have services as well. I mean, simple example, if I say of a chocolate bar, the cocoa is grown in Ghana, shipped to a processor, made into a chocolate in Switzerland, packaged, distributed globally, sold at a store and online, consumed by you all over the world. It's a very simple journey which I've shared to you. Starts from one end, goes to the where. If you want to cut down the carbon footprint, you want to improve the sustainability part, then you have to look the journey from beginning to end. Now the stages, also tell you the services side. People think services don't have any supply chain. No, they are equally important around. Today, if you're working in a hospital supply chain, whether of a government sector or a private sector, now planning and scheduling is done by someone. Procurement people only do procurement. Inbound logistics, so I'm trying to show you how we can do it around. Suppose you are the boss of a big hospital around. You want to forecast how many patients will come, how many beds will be there, how many surgeries will be there. So you plan it according to that. You try to see, guys, what I'm going to buy. Presently, I know procurement people are told, guys, go and buy this, they go and buy. They don't get a good deal. But if they're involved in the planning from the beginning one, they can plan the sourcing of medical supplies, surgical instruments, pharma, and inbound logistic also, moving of these items from within the company, within the hospital. Again, internal logistics, service delivery, and information flow, and the last is post-services. So you can imagine around, even in the services sector, there is a supply chain. So supply chain is not linked only to the goods. So supply chain covers services as well. So in the good old days, people always thought it has to do with the tangible item, which can move. Services are intangible as well. So they also can be covered through this. I was working with another IT company. I'm visiting few companies here around. Here also people are switching over this. Now look at this one, supply chain process map. From one end, the supply chain is only going downstream. You have the procurement and logistics, operational activities around. So operational activity could be production. Now, production was never part of supply chain management. Still, I would say not part of it, but many companies are switching over to this. The reason being production itself is being outsourced now. Look up the company like Apple. Apple is not doing production themselves. They outsource to Foxconn. So you have the raw materials. You buy the material from different parts of the world. You get the production is totally outsourced. Goods are made, like a mobile phone, iPad, whatever, and then finally goes to the customer. And that is one of the best, I would say, in the world, supply chain. End-to-end connected. So you have a good design, good supply chain, and supply chain cover all of these activities. Then there's a demand part also there. So there's another thing which we always talk around is supply chain, other is called value chain. Supply chain moves in this way from the supplier to customer. But when you really want to add some value to the each step around, if I'm in the sales, I get the order from the customer. Now, supply chain people are planning it. So at the stage of planning, I would say, guys, can I give a better feature into the product? Can I add some innovation into this? Can I do a better product development around? So I'm trying to create a better name for my product, reputation for my product. So that's where we come the value chain. So supply chain and the value chain. Now this value chain is also equally becoming important with the competition now. Managing a supply chain is one thing. But in this supply chain, am I adding any value? Like in procurement, we say value is a major thing, value for money. Here also in supply chain, we want to see whether I'm able to add value or not. The risks which are there in the supply chain, supply risk, very first one. In this supply risk means supplier opportunity. Supplier is not trying to give it to me because the price have gone up. Supplier doesn't want to give me at that price now. Inbound product qualities may be poor. Transit time variability. If the goods were coming in 15 days earlier, now it is taking 1 month. That means I have to stock bigger quantity. Risk affecting suppliers. Demand risk. Demand variabilities around, which is common nowadays. You ask anybody in the world, demands are fluctuating. So it's not a stable straight line. Demand forecast errors. Marketing people do the forecast, but then when you really start planning based on the forecast, it doesn't work. So what we do around is convert the forecast into demand planning. So based on demand planning, then I have a procurement plan. I've got other things around. Competitor moves, risks affecting customer. Then there are operational risks around. Inventory ownership, assets and tool ownership. If I'm not the owner of those inventories are lying with the supplier. Assets and tools because I outsource to them, owned by them, and they don't want to work for us because they are getting a better deal from somewhere else. So these are the possible potential risks around. Now what comes, now so far what I've done is to give you some flavor of supply chain. So supply chain, let me put again one line, is link between all the processes from beginning till end. And in this process, we have the raw materials, we have the people, we have processes, and those is called chain. Now to manage them well in a coordinated manner. All the activities are there which are there and we call supply chain management. The word M has come. Management means I'm trying to coordinate in management. What does it involve? The very first thing is planning. Planning means I'm doing the demand forecasting I get from them, from my marketing people. But then there's a planning for this demand forecasting. We try to do S&OP, sales and operation planning. So one side is a supply, one side is a demand. We try to see, guys, is it right? What should be the supply? Can I really deliver as per the demand? So that's what we do this. Sourcing, finding a good selection, procurement, making mean production, quality control, delivering, logistics, warehousing, last mile, returning. And now the new thing has come up in the last few years, enabling. So in the beginning, if I see the SCORE model, SCOR model of supply chain, they were the 5 parameters. But now the 6th one has come, enabling. Enabling by the use of technology. Everybody wants digital transformation. ERP was the first beginning, but now we are moving into other digital things. We want to connect everything end to end. We want to have e-procurement. Then we are talking on data-driven things around. AI, Chat GPT. We want to talk of Gemini or other ones around. Strategy. So SCM leaders act as orchestrators of the entire value chain. So like in procurement, we say we want to achieve value for money. So SCM also wants to achieve value for money in the whole chain, not only in the procurement chain, in the logistic chain, in the warehousing, in the distribution, and even the goods, if they're rejected, how I get them back easily. So what are these tools around? Planning is the very first. IT builds demand forecast tools. So integrates point of sales data with supply planning modules around. Sourcing. Here you're trying to find the good e-procurement modules, e-catalogs, supplier evaluation, dashboard. Manufacturing is there. Then logistics part, where I've got a warehouse management system, transport management system. So these management system helps me to find that I have an optimum inventory. And in the transport time also I'm getting the most optimum route. I'm not wasting money. My logistic cost is lower. I could do the logistic, I could do by sea, I could do through water, I could do through many means around, by trucks or by train. So if I'm doing by sea, the lowest cost. Train also lowest cost. But if I go through the truck, it goes up. And if I go by air, very high. So one has to see what is the most optimum route for doing the journey part. Customer service. And lastly, but not the least, earlier there were only 5. Again, the 6th one, which I was showing in the previous one, enabler. So you need KPIs. You need predictive analysis. You need exception alerts. So all that things are becoming extras around. Now, the difference between supply chain and supply chain management, again, let me clarify. Chain is nothing but the flow of goods and services. Some people will say services doesn't flow, services also flow. So goods, yes, there's a transportation, the truck and all these things around. Services also might be going through the computers, but they still flow. So services, if they're not ready, again, it can affect the. So it's a flow of goods and services. Supply chain management, coordination of those flows. So here I was only looking at the who are the people involved. Here I'm managing them, I'm coordinating them. Focus, structure, who's involved, nothing more than that. So chain is a very mechanical thing, guys, from end to end, which people are involved, which companies are involved, and how much time each one takes around. But here I'm management mean I'm developing a strategy. I'm developing efficiency. And examples could be supply chain suppliers, factories, warehouses, and in the supply chain management, I'm focusing on inventory planning. So inventory planning also, how can I cut down my inventory? So vendor management, analytics. Nobody wants to have a higher inventories around. Sometimes they'll tell the suppliers, can you stock your items next to my factory? I'll give you 2 warehouses. Keep it there. And I'll tell you one day in advance, deliver me that day. So that's the way modality is working on. So again, same thing, the phases of managing a supply chain model based on SCORE. So SCORE is nothing but S stands for supply chain. SC stands for supply chain. Then we have O for operation and reference model. So this is very common nowadays. But this one was still covering only 5 parameters. Plan, sourcing, that means procurement. Executing means making it, or you could say production, delivering, return. So this was the 5 steps around, but now one more step has come because of sustainability, because of AI, one more step is there. So now we have got 6 steps around. So this is what I said to you in the beginning. The planning is nothing. The first step, you can't build without, you can't plan. So you have to work it out. How much is my demand? So normally when I do as a consultant to many companies, I say, guys, tell me, what is your plan for this year? They don't have a plan for the whole year. Then they get only month by month. Yes, I can understand around month by month, but initially you have to have for the whole year. You can tie up with the suppliers through the long-term agreements. You could have, based on the long-term agreement, then you can call off. It may change up and down. I'm not questioning it, but we need a plan. Sourcing. And sourcing, you're focusing on cost, you're focusing on quality, including ethics part. That means the company from where I'm buying, they're giving good facility to the staff around, health-wise, safety-wise, and salary-wise. Minimum wages are there. Then we come to the make part, which I said to you earlier, deliver, return, and the last but not the least, the new addition which has come, enable part, supporting process like data management, compliance, HR, etc. Now let me put this metaphor just to understand and clearly make meaning out of it. Supply chain management is like a human body. Our human body works so effectively because it is all connected. All activities are connected. You eat the food, it becomes processed, blood, whatever you may say around. So SCM is like the human body. Planning is the brain. Who plans it? The brain part. Brain part is the one we do the planning. Sourcing is the heart. And manufacturing is the muscles. And delivery is nothing but the hands and the legs. And the returns are what? Immune system. So I think this gives you some idea around, if you want to have metaphor, SCM is like a human body. Analogy, if I say another ones, on the supply chain network, supply chain is like a railway network. What do you do in the railways? You provide the trains, you have a suppliers, manufacturers, warehouses, customers, and stations along the route. Then we have the processes. But then there are IT services which supports it. So this is what you have done on the goods part. But the services part, if you look around, you have IT services like the signals, switches. So we have the switches and control rooms. So direct the right trains, goods, information to the right stakeholders. Prevent crashes. Monitor everything in a real-time basis. Make adjustments when there are disruptions around. So that means in this network, you can see there's a goods part on the supply chain, but the services part is very, very important. You might be thinking in this service, nothing is moving. Many things are there, but they are very important for this around. Another one, if I talk of a supply chain, I'm just trying to give you an example. Let's say smartphone. Now, smartphone, something we all use on a regular basis. Let's say plan. Now, the smartphone companies forecast demand using data from the past. Then based on that demand, sales, marketing trends, and pre-order, they plan how many phones to produce, where and when. If they plan too little, they lose the market. If they plan too much, they will have extra inventories, wastage of money. And smartphone, you know, the life is 6 months, 7 months for the new model. After 6 months, new model comes in. So they have to plan. So if I'm in the procurement, I have to make my procurement plan. Then another one has to do inventory plan. So, but it all starts from the demand plan. So demand forecasting, demand planning, then demand management part. So when you manage the demand, then you say, guys, I have to procure so much. I need so much of inventory. Sourcing part. In this sourcing, the chips are coming, let's say, from Taiwan. Screens are coming from Korea. Batteries are coming from China. The purpose of writing this is that you can imagine around how many countries are involved. And within the country, how many companies are involved. Cameras from Japan. And when the cameras are making in Japan, Japan might be buying from another 20 companies within Japan or from somewhere else. Raw material might be coming from somewhere else. So hundreds of companies are involved in this source. Evaluate suppliers based on cost, quality, and sustainability. That's what they do. The third thing which comes in the make part is the components are shipped to a factory, maybe in Vietnam or India, where the phone is assembled, tested, and packaged. This stage focuses on quality, speed, and cost effect. Then we have the deliver part. Somebody has to deliver it, either by air, sea, or truck. Supply chain does not end at the factory. So don't think the supply chain has ended at the factory. No. Customer might be sitting in different parts of the world until it reaches the customer hand. The chain is not over. So the delivery part goes like that. And then the return could be there. There are complaints, there are some problem with the qualities part, then they have to be brought back. And then you have to recycle them. So you can imagine around a simple item like a smartphone having hundreds of components coming from 30, 40 countries around. All these steps are required till this chain. So far, what we have been doing around, we have been focusing on sourcing. I am a sourcing guy. Planning guy is someone else. Make is someone else. Deliver is logistic is someone else. So we were all divided. Our own human body is all well connected, so nicely connected, all the parts. But the supply chain, the way it has been going on for ages, they're all in silos. But now we're trying to interconnect them, integrate them. And that is possible because of technology. Had there been no technology, then we wouldn't have been discussing this. So what has shows SCM is global. So supply chain management is a global thing. One product involves suppliers from multiple countries. It is strategic. It affects cost, quality, delivery, and sustainability. Then we also will say around is SCM is dynamic. A chip shortage or a poor delay of one item can disrupt everything. You have got all the parts around, but the chip is not there. The whole line is stuck. One, again, example, if I can, normally I do tell them, everyone. We had one company which are making automobiles. One item was coming from Taiwan. Not Taiwan, sorry, it's coming from Thailand. And there was a flood there around. 3 months flood. That part could not come. Assembly line came to a standstill. Now you can imagine around what damage it has done around. So SCM is very, very dynamic. That's what you say. So this one smartphone passed through hundreds of hands, countries, and decision, and all of us was made possible through smart, agile, and connected supply chain. So in the past, again, I'm putting it up. Procurement people said, guys, I have done my procurement. Logistics will say, I've done my job around. Assembly guy will say, I've done my job, but they were not connected. They were silos. So in supply chain management, we are connecting all the silos. Like our own human body, we want to connect everyone together. Now, the key objective is integration across function. Frictionless movement. So break down siloed thinking. That's what we are looking around. Improved strategic thinking and decision making. Everything has a trade-off. Enhance the efficiency, introduce digital and analytical tools, develop risk and resilience capabilities around. So when we were talking in before COVID time resilience, everybody was saying from procurement angle. Then how about the logistic angle? Procurement side, I got the supplier. But logistics side, difficult to transport. So this is where we came around different concept. Drive sustainability and responsible sourcing around. Now everyone is talking of ISO 20400. Everyone asks around, if I'm exporting the goods to Europe or someone, they want, guys, how much is the carbon footprint? Based on that, there could be carbon tax. So you need to have 20,400. You need to have ESG, environment, social, and governance. The valuation of your company globally, for the top company, ESG is required. So this is the objective of this one around. Why SCM is the future for all? First thing, globalization demands it. Whatever we make, we are doing on a global basis. Otherwise, if you're doing only for a small country, the volumes are so less, you're not cost effective. To be cost effective, we are looking from the globalization. Operational efficiency is critical. Technology is transforming SCM. Which technologies are becoming very powerful now? AI, Internet of Things, blockchain, predictive analytics. If I have got 1,000 parts going into my automobile, or 100 parts are going to the mobile, or I'm developing a software, so many people are involved around. If one is missing, what is the impact of that? So predictive analytics. All other parts are coming, but one is missing. So that predictive analytics can be also done around in that fashion. So why SCM again is the future? The next is customer expectation. Customer expectation, I know you and every countries around e-commerce concept is picking up. People are talking of, in India, when I see now for the last 10, I'm here now, they're talking of 10-minute delivery. They place the orders, they ask them, guy, within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they'll be delivering it to you. Real-time delivery. So you need a very good, smart supply chain. And supply chain has to be customer-centric, fast, flexible. Then the next thing, sustainability, as I said to you earlier, a resilience part. This word came after COVID-19's geopolitical conflicts, which are increasing more and more now. Climate events are also becoming nowadays vulnerable. Future-ready companies build resilience around. So we need resilient companies around. Now, the payoff, if I say why SCM matters for all sectors. Earlier, manufacturing people say, guys, manufacturing is not part of other activities around. They were said it's independent. But now with SCM, we are able to cut the cost, improve the delivery, global competitiveness. If I keep manufacturing as an independent silos, but now if I'm integrating with other activities around, then it is a benefit. Services, retail, agriculture. So in all these areas around, it's helping us. Now, next thing comes why SCM is relevant for services and IT side. In the past, we never talked of IT services for SCM. They said, guys, what is there? I'm making only software. But then somebody is supporting your software for next 5 years. And in between, you find that the person has left you. So there is a supply chain. Today, you have ERP or you have internet connection. The day internet is down, let's say for half a day, your whole thing comes to a standstill. Even in the production, I'm using robots, I'm using other things around. If one system is down, it can come to a standstill. So then even on the services side, we have invisible supply chain. IT services depends on global delivery models. Procurement services strategic spends. So SCM for IT services sectors, again, assets part. Because you must have seen even the data centers. If I had to buy IT assets, hardware, all of them are becoming very important part of the whole supply chain. Customer experience. How SCM is applied in service IT sectors. So let's say procurement. In procurement, I use software, e-procurement, let's say, or software as a service. Or I use the clouds around. So clouds mean my whole software is running on the clouds and I get connected through that. So cloud means it's a data center, there is servers lying outside your premises owned by somebody else. It could be, let's say, for Amazon, could be from Google's, could be from someone else, the cloud part. Consulting, training, BPO services around. Next is the logistics part. You want IT equipment delivery. So I'm looking at example of all IT and service sectors. Setups, returns, repair. Planning part, resource scheduling. Resource could be my people also, who are going to design my program. Resource could also be the one who's going to develop the coding for me. Workforce forecasting around. How many people are required around? I'm in a consulting business, big consulting service. Again, there also I need supply chain. Last year I got 200 consultancy work. This time I may get 400 consulting jobs around. How many people are required? Workforce forecasting. Because all IT services, they provide bodies only. And body means somebody has to work on it. So you have to forecast them. Capacity planning. Then on the supplier management side, I need managing IT vendors. Everything they are not doing themselves. All the IT services people, they outsource it. Risk management. There could be cyber risk. You have made a design someone has done, but then there could be cyber risk around. Your data could be captured by someone else. There could be hacking. So they have other activities which are part of the supply chain. Contract need to be renewed, SLAs. So in short, what we're trying to say, SCM is not only for the goods, also for the service sector under different headings. So in short, if I had to summarize it, think of SCM like the nervous system of a business. It keeps everything connected and responsive. So SCM is like an orchestra. Every function from procurement to logistic must play in harmony with the perfect performance around. Now let's walk off risk. I gave you some flavor of risk in the beginning, but now I'm giving you more details. Supply risk, natural disasters. The flood has come, tsunami is there, earthquake is there, your whole assembly line, the goods were coming from X country and they have got a natural disaster. They can't deliver you. Or they have a pandemic. They can't deliver you. Or the goods are coming from a country which is under geopolitical tension. They can't deliver you. So there is a spread. Now these words were not there a decade back, but now it's becoming very common. Every day we hear of something. Country to country disruptions are there. Logistics and transportation delays. Port congestion is there. Container shortage is there. Our fuel prices spikes are there. Sometimes goes up, sometimes goes down. Supplier risks are there. On the quality side, you have a supplier, but financially they are very poor. Because their demands are going up and down, financially they are very weak, so they are not able to cope up with the delivery. Cybersecurity threats. So this one has, since we are moving into digitalization, in the good old days it was not digitalized, it was totally manual. So there was not much of cybersecurity part. But now we are moving into AI and this. So there's a plus side and there's a minus side. That means there are cybersecurity threat as well. So now this risk we never discussed a decade back. So we are moving into digital world. So cybersecurity threat is also there. The regulatory part. Every country is coming with a regulation on sustainability, on tariff, labor laws. So that means we have to comply. If we don't comply, there could be that we may lose our business around. Now, the challenges which we have, lack of visibility and transparency. We have visibility up to the tier 1 supplier. But if I want to know tier 2 from where they buy, we don't know. I remember the time in the good old days when I used to work in the US. I used to outsource many things to China and other places. And delivery is not happening. And later on when we found the depth around, it was not because of the supplier itself, it was because of the tier 2 supplier or because of the tier 3 supplier. Because they were also depending on the raw material from somewhere else. So there could be a chain issue around. Forecasting inaccuracies. Siloed operation. So VR challenges means still in many organizations, procurement is a separate department. Logistics is a separate department. Planning is a separate department. Public sector still it is like that. And if we want to improve the efficiency, we need to put them together under one head. So the talent shortage is also there around. Since the SCM word has picked up, I would say in the last 20 years worldwide. And when I see in India also in the last 10 years, not many people still picking up. Demand for skill is growing faster than supply. But if you look at the education-wise, there are not many institutions which are training you, specializing you on SCM. On procurement, they know. On logistic also they will know. But if you want to see supply chain management as a whole.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mukul. So we had in the good old days MBA program when I was doing in the US studying. So we used to have MBA in supply chain, not supply chain, it was operation. But now if I talk around, it should be MBA in supply chain and operation is a part of it. So when I was studying around, operation was there, supply chain was only one small paragraph on that. While now it is there, supply chain is a mother and operation is a part of it. So this is how there's a shortage of people in this field around. Balancing cost, speed, and sustainability. Now comes again the challenges always bring opportunities. Now those challenges we have to cover up. That means I have to do digital transformation. There's no choice. But this transformation also brings a risk to me. Cybersecurity. which I can address by different way. So digital transformation, resilient and agile, thinking in a very flexible way, trying to find supplier sources in nearshoring. Why should you have a supplier coming from 10,000 miles away? Look for nearshoring. One supplier could be in the nearby regions, one could be from remote. So in the process, if one is not able to deliver you, you are able to depend on another one. That's what we call resilient part. So then we have the next one is resilient and competitive. And end-to-end visibility, customer-centric supply chain. The types of SCM, push type, pull type. So the one is push type. We decide the demand, and then based on that, we do it. It used to be the old-fashioned methods. But when Dell came first time, they came with the pull. So pull means customer will decide. It's a very customer-oriented approach. Customer will say, I need this. According to that, they will plan the production. So this was the one we planned for the whole year. We do production, and then we try to sell them. So it's a customer-centric, it's a demand-centric. Functions, the type of function, the carrier-wise, in procurement, you're all conversant. Logistics also, there are jobs, planning also there, operation also there. Now, these are the wide range of job. If I talk of SCM, so these are all pillars of SCM. So each one has own roles around, which I'm sure you're all conversant. But now people want to move from logistics to the SCM head. Procurement guys wants to move toward the SCM. So they have to understand all the subjects around. Okay, guys, let me now looking at the time frames, show why it matters, the real world impact. SCM is just about moving goods. So some people thought in the good old days it was all about transportation. Again, I'm summarizing it. SCM is nothing, only is for the goods you make. Transportation is only one part of it. It covers all activities from planning to procurement to manufacturing to transportation, whatever, and return also. And for covers both goods and services, saving cost, improving customer satisfaction, enabling sustainability, and managing risk, and even business strategies around. Okay, guys, resilient supply chain capabilities. I can show you with one pictures around. Eliminate information delay. If you are able to eliminate the information delay, I think the problem with the resilient is if we have information, visibility end to end, then I can take action very well fast. But if I don't get visibility, I can't be resilient. To become resilient, I need a visibility. So real-time visibility. And then some task has to be automated and work together. So we have to work together with cross-functional basis around. Now, the supply chain traditionally have been very straight line. Straight line, the supplier, you plan with supplier, they provide to you, producer. You order it and confirm, producer. Again, production, we plan it, order and confirm, it goes to distributor. Now, retailer is placing order on distributors, customer is placing on retailer, retailer is placing on distributor, distributor on producer, and this one. So you can imagine around, we have every step, we have frictions here, delays, inefficiencies, and bullwhip effect. Similarly, when we come to this inventory-wise are going up, cost of goods were going up, out of stock, transparency-wise, nil. It's going down. If agility-wise, because all are silos, this part is separate silos, this is separate silos. If any change happens here at the customer end, so by the time it try to implement, the customer has said, okay, guy, I don't want to buy 10,000 pieces, I'll buy only 5,000. So by the time I plan and goes up to the supplier end, I lose my time. They're not connected. But now what we're trying to do is in the digital world, so the digital world concept came from Industry 4. Industry 1.0, Industry 2.0, Industry 3.0, Industry 4. So the 3.1 was the one which 4 was the one which brought everything connected together. So supply chain also has to be 4.0. So the digital technologies, so we have digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. So digitization is the one when we convert the old documents, hard copies, into digital. I scan it, I store it, this is my digitization. But now when we go to the next one, digitalization, that means here I'm doing a different approach. So this is the one, digitalization means I'm having digital by nature. Your purchase order is digital. Your invoice is digital. Your goods receipt note is digital. And then everything is digital. So the data is there. I can use it for AI as well. Then I go into the digital time. While this was the very first step, when we were scanning it, storing it, and converting the scan into digital. Now this from the linear one, we are moving into digital supply chain. So you have a control towers like like at the airport, you have a control towers. Same concepts more or less, but not that it's going to be tower per se. This tower gives you information on all. You have a supplier information, you have a producer, distributors, retailers, customer. Everybody has access to this. So if any change happen at the customer level, everyone knows at the same time. So the visibility is so good, my system become more agile. If customer has told me that we will make 1 million pieces this year, but then customer sometime loses the business, they say, guys, sorry, 1 million, I only need 500,000. Information goes to everyone through the control tower immediately. And everybody is able to cope up. While in the past it was a straight line, if customer tells, customer has to tell the retailer, retailer has to tell distributor, distributor to producer. It's a long path. While in this case, there's no long path, they're all together. Now the carrier path, the last one I want to touch on this. If you want to be expert on supply chain, first thing, understand what SCM is. The goal should be gain clarity about this field. Learn the basics of SCM. The basic is procurement is one pillar. Logistic is another pillar. Inventory is another pillar. Demand planning is another pillar. Customer service is another. So you can imagine around this is becoming very demanding field itself, demanding carrier even itself. There are some books I've referred around here. Follow the industry blogs, YouTube channels, LinkedIn thought leaders, or take a short course into this. Step 2, if I say, build the right educational foundation. One should have undergraduate degree in business, engineering, logistics, economics, commerce, but then optional again, but helpful, postgraduate programs in MBA in supply chain if it's available, or PG diploma in logistics. So non-traditional entrance career switches, some people change the career later, which happens very often. I'm in finance, I'm in production, I'm in operation. I want to switch over to supply chain. So they can do some online certification and switch over to this. Not a big. Third step is there, get certified. If you want to move a little faster, so there are certification like ISM, which is the oldest and the largest in the world, with chapters in all over the world, I can say. And ISM-INDIA, we also cover the same certification. It's a global CPSM. Then there's a CSCP. It comes from Apex, another body. SC Pro is another body, again in the US. CILT, SIPS, they are from UK based. Then IDSCM is coming from United Nations. So this program also we provided through our office as well, and it's also coming from United Nations. So certificate is signed by United Nations and Lean Sigmas and ISO 20400. Then we have the step 4, I would say, around gain practical experience. In supply chain, one needs a practical experience around. So start with entry-level roles. You could be starting with procurement analyst, You could be the logistic coordinators, then slowly move into the carriers around. Or you might be inventory planners, or you might be dealing with warehouse executives. You can imagine around to become the supply chain leader, you need a mix of all this, knowledge of all. So you could consider your internship, roles, trainee positions. So step 5 is the learn key tools and technologies. So the goal should be stay relevant. ERP system, I'm sure all of you are conversant. SAP, Oracles, there are many. I'm not saying only, I've put down few names. Microsoft Dynamics is there, SCM software. Now SCM software we have from Kinaxis, Manhattan's, Coupas, very popular one. Analytics again, others. Now step 6 would be develop the key skills around. Build both technical and soft skills. On the technical side, one has to learn demand planning. That means you need to know first the forecast part, then planning it, and then sourcing strategies around cost analysis, contract management, and the soft skills certainly, which I'm sure you already know from procurement side, negotiation, communication, data-driven decision making, and stakeholders management. Now the trending, which are the new areas around which are coming up under this one new skill, AI, ML. So we are also doing certification on AI separately. Sustainable sourcing, and risk resilience, and digital supply chain. So they are the ones one need to pick it up much more. 7th step is network and learn continuously. Stay informed and connected. Join professional bodies with the ISM, ASCM. SIPS is UK, ISM headquarters is in US. ASCM is also in the US. SIPS is also from UK. This one is also from Chicago, CSCMP. But they have branches in various countries around. Attend webinars, conferences, as the one we are doing it now for the supply chain. Follow link leaders, and the LinkedIn leaders also, there is a lot of things you'll find there. Take part in SCM and this one. The last step, if I would say around, is take a long-term path. Supply chain managers, and this is only suitable for those who are already at the manager's level. Are senior roles, directors of SCM, CPOs. So diversify across industries. Or specialize in sector, like if you are working in FMCG, you need to specialize on that. If you want to be supply chain of healthcare, you need to specialize. Automotives, again, supply chain. Public procurement, different type of supply chain. Public procurement is still, the name you can see is procurement, but the term is now changing up slowly. You will find they're also talking of SCM. So develop, I would say, a digital mindset, sustainability lens. The future of SCM is tech-enabled. That's what we're saying around. This is where I wanted to show you why this integration. Look at this one. One guy is dealing with procurement, one guy is dealing with planning, one deal is warehousing, one is dealing with something, but no, one side there's a problem, others are relaxing. So what we are trying to do is connect every one of them, integrate all the activities together like a human body. So this silo thinking has to drop. Customer doesn't care who does it what. Customer wants their goods in time. So this is why there's a need to integrate. So this picture maybe gives you some idea around why we're talking of integration. Closing thoughts, if I say, in today's fast-moving, interconnected world, supply chains are no longer just a back-end function. They are strategic engines of growth, resilience. So SCM is not just a profession. It's a pulse of the global economy. Are you ready to be in its heartbeat? So this is where, now what I will do around last, just to take a 1 or 2 poll question, more like an icebreaker, to get a feel from you whether you have got some idea from this last 60 minutes. Very first one, guys, I want to hear from you. What is the primary goal of supply chain? Anyone want to answer?
Enhance customer
Enhance the
satisfaction.
customer satisfaction and efficiency.
Enhancing customer satisfaction.
Okay, some have said C, some have said B. Anyone else want to say anything before I? What is the purpose of SCM? Why do you want to have SCM? Why not silos?
It's B.
It's B.
B. Okay, good. I can see the more people are supporting B.
The answer
So
is B.
anyway, excellent. Thank you, guys. It gives me confidence that you have all picked up. Super. I'm calling as an icebreaker because I want to be doubly sure. That means you have understood the basic purpose, why we are integrating. So we want customer satisfaction and efficiency. Okay, guys, next one. SCM is only relevant for manufacturing company. Do you agree with this?
False. False.
False.
All. Super. Thank you. That means it is not only for manufacturing, it covers services as well. Am I correct?
Yes, very much.
Like example, I gave you a hospital. Very few hospital. I've been to some in USA and I'm presently here. Some people are switching over, but in many places in my country, also India, when I go back, hospitals, they are still divided. I'm procurement guy, I'm this guy, but here we are connecting people. IT services, so also becoming key. So SCM is relevant not only for this, it is the false. Okay, the last one, guys, quick one. What recent event made supply chain a boardroom level topic? Why?
COVID-19 pandemic.
COVID-19
B.
pandemic.
COVID-19
Excellent.
pandemic.
You guys are all smart people, so I don't have to say much now. So COVID-19 was the one which created this feeling, guys, we can't live in silos. We need to connect. So very right, B is the one, COVID-19 pandemic. So it gives me the confidence that whatever we have done in 1 hour, you have picked it up. So with this, I want to thank you all